Hi everyone, and welcome to the final NottsPharmCast of 2025. And I'm delighted to say that today I am joined by Rob Severn, our amazing chair here at Community Pharmacy Nottinghamshire, and pharmacist extraordinaire, and Mike Jones, our services implementation manager, and also pharmacist. Today, just to finish off the year, we've got a few things to talk about, but we're going to focus on the changes to the Pharmacy First Gateway. Obviously, you'll all be aware, I hope you will anyway, that the commencement of the new clinical pathways, PGDs, etc., happened on the 1st of October, so a couple of months ago now. And all contractors and pharmacy teams should be now using these updated clinical pathways. The IT systems that are in place have been updated to reflect the changes. And I think this is a great moment just to highlight the fact that these changes have come about as a result of feedback made by contractors. So thank you ever so much, everybody, for doing that. That is all down to your support. And that's obviously enabling us to improve the care that we can offer people and patients throughout our local communities. So without further ado, I'm going to pose the first question to you, Rob, about why are these changes to the gateway points for Pharmacy First so important for contractors and pharmacy teams to understand?
I think the most important thing, Kirsten, for that is the fact that more patients should be hitting gateway. And that means it's better outcome for patients, better outcome for contractors, and better outcomes for the NHS generally. So I think there's some great changes been made there that will ensure that more people get the best care needed at the right place and the right time.
Absolutely. Mike, anything to add to that?
No, I think Rob's absolutely right. We're coming up to a really important period where GPs are starting to feel overwhelmed. That was even on the news this morning.
Yeah, I heard that too.
Yeah, and we do know that community pharmacy plays a really important part in freeing up appointments so that GPs can actually see the patients that really need to be seen by them in the surgery. So Rob is absolutely right. That there is an opportunity here for more patients to actually have a conversation with the pharmacist and actually receive the necessary antibiotics for their condition.
Exactly. And clearly, Rob, hearing you talk, you were very passionate about this. And obviously you're working in a pharmacy yourself on a weekly basis. What are the benefits you've already seen in your practice since the 1st of October when these changes came into place?
We're seeing more patients now hitting gateway. When they hit gateway, that means I am recording the conversations I've had with the patients and the relevant clinical notes onto the electronic system that we use. In my pharmacy, we use Pharm Outcomes. There's a few other bits to note about the gateway changes as well, that on all the gateways, there's now a gateway met if you need to signpost that patient to urgent life-threatening care at A&E or 999.
Okay.
And it's worth noting that when you do that, you have to record it onto your platform. You ask the reason I asked the reason why, and that means there's a clinical note of what you've done, what you've told the patient and where you signposted them to. That's important that's then in their record. So as they go through the NHS systems, people can refer back to what's been said originally. And I think that's really key that contractors understand that's the reason it's there. It's to gain the data for the NHS of the important steps that contractors are taking to protect and care for their patients.
Absolutely, Rob. And we've talked about this in previous podcasts, I know, about the importance of clear and concise notes when you're talking to patients. Obviously, this ties in with that, doesn't it?
It does indeed, yes. It's important that contractors and pharmacists are aware of what a good note should be. I'm not going to go into too much detail on that now, but there are CPPE tools and education pieces that contractors can use to help with that.
Yeah, exactly. Mike, anything you want to add there to what Rob's just said?
Well, again, just to build on what Rob said, really, these gateway changes do mean now that patients who have to be sent to urgent care centres are sent to urgent care centres. But before that, pharmacists were doing the work but there was no payment for them to send to and signpost to urgent care centres. So this change has really reflected, I think, the importance of and payment for that consultation to keep the patient safe.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, you've just talked about one of the changes there, Robert. Any further changes to the 7 pathways that you'd like to just to reflect on and talk about?
If I can, there's a couple of things just to note. First of all, on the UTI pathway, diabetics are now excluded, but the gateway point has been moved up that for any patient who thinks they may have a UTI, even if they're showing only one symptom or no symptoms, and you record it on your clinical platform, you will hit gateway for that.
Okay.
So that's a big change there for me. If you want me to carry on, I'll go on to each further one as well.
Yes, please, Rob. Yeah.
The insect bite pathway stays pretty much similar, but there's been a change to the wording of any bite that's occurred outside the UK. It's now only excluded if you are concerned of insect-borne infections such as malaria or encephalitis. So in a layman's terms, if the patient's been to the Republic of Ireland and got bit by a insect and returns day after, they can access the pharmacy first. Before, it was anybody who'd been outside of the UK was excluded.
Okay.
So there's some clinical judgment there on that one. If I move on then to impetigo, a big change in the gateway point there. Basically, if the patient requires a consultation or a physical observation by the pharmacist in the consultation room, you have therefore hit gateway for that patient. So even if it's not impetigo, but the patient's required to go into the consultation room to be examined, you've hit gateway.
Gateway. Okay.
And a similar process for that is with shingles as well. Because the pharmacist needs to assess the patient.
Yes.
So if that assessment's taken place, you record it on your clinical platform, you're going to hit gateway and you're going to get remunerated for that important assessment that you're undertaking.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Moving on to the sinusitis pathway, patients have suffered with sinusitis less than 10 days aren't eligible for any of the treatments, so they're eligible for self-care, but the gateway is now changed so that interaction is recorded and a gateway point's reached for the self-care advice.
Okay.
Ear infections for the under 18s. If the patient requires an otoscopic examination, gateways hit. So again, that has just been a little bit clearer in the gateway point for that.
Yes.
And I think the final one that I've not mentioned yet is sore throat. Again, the gateways there are very similar. They've just been tidied up regarding returning patients. If you've sent them away for 2 or 3 days to see how their illness progresses, if they come back and need a second examination, that's clearly marked as another secondary gateway. Again, anybody on fever pain 1 or more or 2 or more should be hitting gateway.
Okay. Interesting. No, really helpful that, Rob. That's a really great summary for everybody, and very interesting with regards to the fact that it sounds a lot more straightforward, I think, and hopefully this will ensure more contractors can hit gateway, which with regards pharmacy first.
Sorry, the key point on it is that if there's work undertaken and it's recorded on the platform, you'll be hitting gateway.
Yes.
And I think it's a fair return for contractors and pharmacists.
Absolutely, which is what we all want. On talking about the changes to those the pathways, Rob and Mike, a question for both of you really. Do you have any sort of specific top tips that you could pass on to contractors, an insight that would help in the delivery of this and just really making the most of it?
Oh, well, can I just pick up from where Rob left off, because I think,
of course, sorry Mike.
No, not at all, because I think it is important to remember there is no way that we can cover every single change in detail. Rob's already
Sure.
done a great job in terms of the highlights, but I do think we have to remember that it does remain the responsibility of all clinicians delivering the service to ensure they've read and understood the changes and signed the new documents. I think
Yes.
that you know,
Good
because
point.
it is easy to miss this change. So that's why what we're covering today isn't an exhaustive list. That
No.
really does need to be done by the clinicians offering the service. But really, I've got three or four tips which I think are really important to actually make the most of these changes. I've already said this a couple of times already. Please read the documents and be clear on that. I think the second thing is brief the teams on the changes, because about this potential opportunity for pharmacists, because more patients are going to be coming in and asking for either asking for the Pharmacy First service, or can be directed to pharmacists for the Pharmacy First service with the symptoms that they're showing. So be aware of the symptoms and be aware that it's everybody's responsibility really to look out for these and support these patients.
Yes.
I think the third thing would be to when patients are coming in and asking for everyday over-the-counter remedies, perhaps on the back wall, I don't know, Benylin, for example, at a pharmacy medicines, it is important, I think, to have some way of marking on the shelf edge which of those medicines could lead to a Pharmacy First consultation. And a simple thing that we've heard about is putting a white dot in front of each of these products. And so as the patient comes in, the member of staff actually has a conversation with them. As they go to pick up a medicine, they're reminded that this is worth having a conversation with the pharmacist about.
Exactly.
And if you like, shepherding patients to the pharmacist for the consultations, I think that's really important, because then it's a team game.
Yeah, a few contractors have talked about that, Mike, haven't they? Sort of
They
putting
have.
coloured stickers on packets,
Exactly.
even, you know? Yeah, good shout.
I mean, it's very simple, but it's very effective.
Yes.
And I think the last point I'd say is please use the resources that are out there. Community Pharmacy Nottinghamshire website is full of resources that we've produced, which are really useful. CPE website have got some great, Community Pharmacy England website are really great with their resources. So use the assets that are out there, because we are convinced that by doing some very simple things will increase the number of Pharmacy First consultations and the support we can give.
Yes, exactly. Brilliant, Mike. Thank you very much for that. Rob, anything to add there from your perspective?
I think that's got some great feedback we've had from local contractors. It's a team effort. It's very much, you've got to involve your team in the pharmacy I work at. The team are really involved in highlighting this service to patients and in the wider community as well. We've been out to schools, we've sent leaflets to schools, youth groups, all sorts of different groups out there in the community. You know, it's a real asset for a community to know that they can come to the pharmacy and access good quality clinical care for these 7 common conditions.
Absolutely. And of course, we have our Pharmacy First Nottinghamshire website that we know more and more members of the public are using to find their nearest pharmacy to go and then speak to a clinician. So, yeah, just remember that one, everybody. Tell patients about your Pharmacy First Nottinghamshire website. Mike's waving at me. He wants to say something.
Yeah, well, it's just linked to that point, really. But through our social media, please follow us on LinkedIn. Because it's a really good way of following the communications that we would want you to see to help you and your teams, because we have a good following already, but we really could do with a bigger following, because communication comes out so much more quickly if you can't find it on you're not accessing your NHS email.
Good shout, Mike. Thank you for that. Thumbs up. I know we perhaps want to finish on a few things that pharmacists can do to help themselves after this podcast, but I know you also both want to say a few thank yous. I don't know who wants to do the thank you.
I'll go first, Kirsten.
Go, Rob.
As chair of the LPC, it's great to see all the hard work our contractors are putting into delivering the new services that are branded under Pharmacy First. They're doing great numbers of Pharmacy First. They're doing great numbers of conception service. And we've now seen the extended emergency conception service launch as well. I'd just like to say a big thank you to all the pharmacists, all the technicians and all the team members out there who are really working hard to support their local communities to be and keep as well as possible.
Yeah. Mike?
Yeah, absolutely echo that. And the other thing I'd like to say is a huge thank you to everyone, because we have not seen the same number of GP referrals as other systems have. But given that fact, our contractors are still delivering an amazing number of consultations across the whole of Pharmacy First. And by that, I mean the bundle services as well for contraception and blood pressure. And it's just wonderful to see that our teams understand the value of this. And also they understand the value of helping. What they do makes a real contribution to helping the overall NHS. It keeps people out of hospitals. It keeps people from going to GPs and clogging up their number of appointments, etc. We are pivotal in primary care. And I think it's easy for us to forget, in the busyness of our days, the importance of the work we do. Mm-hmm. So just a huge thank you.
Absolutely. Again, here, Mike. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Rob. So I think just in summary, I did say there about helping yourself after this podcast. I think just, make sure that you have read those PGDs, make sure your team have, as Mike said, brief your teams. And as Rob said, make sure that you're familiar with these. Just check on those 7 pathways. Rob mentioned some of the changes there. There are a few others. He's picked out some of the key ones. Just make sure you're familiar with those. And also just to say, we're here. If you've got any questions, please reach out to the team. Mike said follow us on LinkedIn. You can also go onto our website, email the team. We're here to help. We're here to support you. And a thank you from me as well, just as the lay person on this call. I never cease to be amazed when I go into pharmacy, as a general member of the public as well, to see the outstanding work that's going on, and really proud to be part of that. So thank you to everybody. And I guess if there's anything else, unless you want to finish, is probably wish everybody a Merry Christmas. I don't know. Is there anything to add, or do you just want to, I don't know, Mike or Rob might want to sing to you. I'm not sure.
No.
No, that was a categoric no.